Hey, so today is going to be a bit of a different video. I am going to be, so far I've just been doing makeup, hair stuff, but if you guys remember, like, when I first started the channel, I'd let you guys know that I kind of wanted to be sharing with you guys my experience. Again, I moved out to America back in March. Yeah, so I've been here for 8 months now. So I'd said that I was going to share with you guys kind of a bit more about how I ended up out here and stuff like that. So I've had quite a few questions which I'm going to be going through today, so it's going to be a bit of a Q&A. I'll try and keep it as brief as possible. I already feel like this is going to be a long video, so I'll try not to talk too much. But yeah, so hope you guys enjoy the video. If you do have any other additional questions, I will be doing kind of a part 2 to this, where I'll be going into further detail, kind of the actual program that I'm doing out here and that application process in particular. So yeah, so to start, the first question I got was, why did I move here? So when I first started applying for unis and stuff, I really wanted to go to King's College because it offered a year abroad in New York. And when I called the admissions office and whatever, when I was doing UCAS, they were like, you need, I think it was A star, A B, or 3 A's to get in, and I was predicted AAB. And the one was like, honestly, it's so competitive, I wouldn't really, I wouldn't waste one of your choices. So I actually removed it off my UCAS, and literally that's the last time I let anyone kind of make me sell myself short, really, because I could have still applied for it and maybe I would have got in, maybe I wouldn't. Now I'll never know. But yeah, so it really started from then. I just kind of wanted that international experience. My sister did a year in Marbella, and I was like, okay, she did Marbella, it's fancy, what can I do that's better than Marbella? And I was like, New York is lit. So fast forward, I was in second year uni, and I literally just googled, how do I move to New York? And the program that I'm doing just popped up, and it's called the Mountbatten Institute. So then I saw that, I was like, oh, that's interesting, and I didn't really think about it again. I was just trying to focus on securing that 2-1, and then it came to, I'd graduated. I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do, which I know a lot of us find ourselves in. I did study and end up studying law at the University of Birmingham, and I was just like, what can I do now? Ended up working in legal recruitment because I didn't want to do a training contract just for the sake of it, while I still figured out what I was going to do. And then did a year in legal recruitment, and then I came out here. So that's kind of a quick overview. There were other factors as well, but the seed was first planted literally when I was 15, 16, looking at UCAS stuff. How long did it take to make the decision to go? As I said, it was kind of something that was in the back of my mind for so long that it didn't feel like it was an impulse decision or anything that was so hard to make. So it's been in the back of my mind. Unfortunately my uni didn't really offer kind of that year abroad during your studies, so it was in the back of my mind for a while, I'd say. So I mean, from the time that I actually decided to go, I think it was probably maybe 6 months into my my first job after uni. So 6 months after graduating, I'd say 9 months after graduating, I was like, okay, let me take this seriously, let me actually start looking at the application process and stuff. How was I scared? It didn't hit me until I was on the plane. Literally at Manchester Airport, obviously I'm sure this is the case at most airports, there's that point where no, only passengers are allowed to go through. And as I was going up the escalator, I looked down and I just saw my parents, saw my best friend, saw Sonia, who was pregnant at the time, and I was just like, what am I doing? I was honestly, before then, I just didn't think it was that big a deal, because I was like, I've done uni before, I was away from home for 3 years, but I forgot that home was only an hour and a half away, and now I was literally on the other side of the world with none of my family there. Yeah, so I wasn't scared until I got here. Till I was on the plane. Even when I was on the plane, I started crying, and I was watching Me Before You. You guys have seen that film. It's literally, I was bawling, but I was like, I don't know if it's the film or if it's because I'm sad, like I actually need to watch it again just to, you know, figure out what it was. But yeah, so I wasn't scared until I got on the plane. How long did the process take in terms of the visa? So like I said, I started thinking about it kind of 9 months after graduation, so that takes us to, let's say, like August kind of 2016. And so the application for the program, that's what took long. So I think I submitted my application initially in September, and then obviously I left in March, so that's 7 months. But in terms of the actual visa, so aside from the program, just the visa, I'm on the J1 visa, by the way, that literally it was so quick. So let me see, I had my interview on the 6th of March. No, okay, so I'll talk you guys through the process of the program, and you know, you guys will understand why it took from September till March before I came out here. But obviously, because I was doing it via the Mountbatten Institute, it meant that, you know, a lot of my visa documentation and stuff was provided by them, which obviously kind of helped me in terms of securing my visa. So that was so I got my visa appointment was on the 6th of March. I got my passport back on the 11th of March, and I moved out on the 15th. So you guys can see how quick that turnaround was. And I mean, I only flew out so quick because I was due to have been starting work, and I secured my job quite late in the application process. I think I got my acceptance for the role on the 23rd of February. So literally from my job acceptance to moving out was 1, 2, 3 weeks. So it can be super quick. Obviously, it's not like you have to move out straight after you receive the visa, but just because of kind of the terms of the J1 visa that I was coming on, that's how quick the turnaround was for me. So yeah, so it was super quick, and I think that's one thing that plays a factor in, like, was I scared? Because during that build-up from September, I wasn't sure if I was definitely going to go, because the visa is dependent on you securing a placement. So I was like, maybe I won't get a placement, maybe I won't get a job. So it was like, there's no point to start getting nervous yet until I've actually secured the job. So I think it only really hit me, like I said, when I was actually at the airport. Did people try and put me off? You know what? The thing is, my family was so supportive. Like, literally, my parents are the ones like, if you want to do something that's going to like benefit you, they're like, go for it. And it was kind of more of like, oh yeah, guys, by the way, I'm going to move to New York. And they were just like, oh, what? And then I'd just be telling them about the program that I'm doing, the benefits and stuff. And they were just like, yeah, like, if it's going to help you in the job afterwards, then that's fine, whatever. The only thing was, obviously, my sister Sonia was pregnant at the time. So she was like, no, don't go. Like, she wasn't being serious. Or was she? Were you being serious? She was like, anyway, she was like, don't. She was basically sad, obviously, that I was going to miss the birth of my nephew, who I love. Obviously, I really, really would have wanted to be there, but at the same time, I was like, you know, babies are boring at the beginning. I want to, like, be there when he's, like, starting to walk and crawl and talk and stuff like that. So I would have rather missed kind of those first few months and be there for the rest. You know, I'll be there for I'll be back in time for his first birthday and stuff like that. So obviously, she was sad that I was going, but it wasn't a case of, like, putting me off, like, don't go, you're gonna hate it and stuff like that. No one really tried to put me off. What's the hardest part about living in New York? I would say the hardest part about living out here is money. Like, living out here is so expensive, and healthcare, like, I just can't get to grips with the American healthcare. Like, literally, little things that I'd go to the doctor for in England, I actually hesitate to go because I'm just like, crap, like, if I go, am I going to get a bill of like $500? I still don't understand really how the health system works, because sometimes I go to the doctors and then, like, I'm waiting to see if they're going to ask me to pay, and it's like my insurance covers it, but I don't know to what extent. So I'm struggling to get to grips around that whole kind of thing. Like, prescriptions will be like, part of it will be paid for, some of it you have to cover the rest. Like, it's a mess, and maybe that's just because I don't understand it, but that's probably one of the other hardest things to kind of get to grips with. what do I miss about England? Honestly, England, like obviously England will always be home. Kind of that's where I was raised. I lived there from 1999, obviously until March of this year. So it's like, it'll always be home, but it's not even England that I miss as much as the people. I went home for like 3 days and I was just literally so excited to be home. Not necessarily of like things I needed to do in England. I just wanted to be around kind of my friends and people like that. So yeah, that's probably what I miss most about England. And the last question is, second to last question is, what's it like living with strangers? Now, I was so nervous when I came out here. Literally, I was just like, I lived with, obviously in student accommodation in first year with like 4 of the girls, but long story, but by February everyone in my flat had moved out, so I was by myself from February till the end of first year. And then in second and third year I lived with my sister, so I never really had that experience of living with people I didn't know. So when I came out here, you're not just living with someone, you're sharing a room. Just on this particular program that I'm doing, I was actually going to be sharing a room with someone. So like I said, I was so nervous, but honestly I love my roommate. We had the option to kind of move to like single rooms or whatever after the first 6 months, but we just wanted to stick together. So yeah, and like the rest of my flatmates are all so nice. Like, we're actually like a little family, honestly. I could not have been like so lucky. And I don't want to sell dreams, because obviously you're not going to be like guaranteed to like all of your flatmates, but honestly I have been so blessed with mine, and yeah, I just love them. I love them, I really do. So living with people obviously wasn't an issue. I was nervous at first, but literally like before you come out here, you kind of filled in a questionnaire of like, what music do you like, what time do you sleep, do you like sleeping in a hot room, do you like sleeping in a cold room, and they try and match you up with someone based on kind of what you say. So yeah, so it really worked out for me. And the last question is, what would I say to someone who was thinking of doing this as well? I would definitely recommend it. It's such an amazing experience kind of to put yourself out there, experience new things in a completely different kind of environment. Obviously the British and the American culture have their similarities and their differences, but yeah, I think it's just a great thing to build your independence and stuff. And especially kind of from a career perspective, like I said, when I finished uni, didn't know what I wanted to do, and it's like, nowadays everyone's graduating from decent university, they've got 2-1s, they've got first, so it's like, what makes you stand out? And for me, I just thought, let me get this experience, international experience. At the moment I'm working in finance. Coming from a legal background, it's not easy to kind of get your foot in the door into finance kind of without any work experience and stuff like that. So it's been a really, really amazing opportunity, steep learning curve, but I've definitely enjoyed it, and I think I've grown kind of as a person and also in my career as well. So I definitely recommend it if anyone's thinking about doing it. Now, Mountbatten aren't the only people who offer the J1 visa, so definitely do your research. You might find a program that suits you better. So like, obviously I'm doing Mountbatten in New York, but you can also do it in London. So if you live kind of outside of the UK, you can also apply to study in London. So say, for example, if you're from America now and you're thinking of moving to the UK, it's a great experience. So it's basically the same thing as I'm doing, but you'll be moving to London as well. So yeah, definitely recommend it. Like I said, in my next video, I'm going to be kind of talking about the Mountbatten program in further detail, more about the job that I'm doing, what I'm studying out here as well, and talk you guys through the application process. So just in case you are thinking of applying, hopefully it will help you. But yeah, I mean, kind of in the long term, if, say for example, if you are looking to maybe move to America further down the line, it's a great way to kind of build your relationship with an American company or network while you're out here, so that when it comes to the end of the year, if it's done and you want to stay, you've got people that you can reach out to. So I think it's a great step kind of if you do want to make that full-on transition over here. Maybe you might find yourself a husband or a wife, get you that fiancé visa and whatnot. Not that you should marry just for the visa, but yeah, you never know what might happen. So obviously I finish in March. I've got about a month after that to kind of get my affairs together, I think they call it, and then I will be going home. So like I said, gonna give you another video with kind of more in detail description. So like I said, make sure you keep an eye out for the next video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel as well to get an update of when that goes live. So if you have anything more that you want to ask that I may not have answered for you today, please feel free to drop me a message. All my socials will be below, so you can contact me there and I'll definitely answer them in my next video. I will be doing a Christmas giveaway, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel so that you can be the first to hear about that. And like always, make sure you like, comment, share and subscribe. Bye!